man the zone and limit the walks.
Opponents batting 244 off of Kyra Aycock, and we are underway. Again, many Oklahoma State Cowboy fans will remember Raphael Denson from the mid-90s and was a terrific running back, slot receiver, utility type player for Pat Jones, and his daughter, the leadoff hitter for Tulsa. So double connection for the Denson family in that regard. 1-1 here to Mackenzie Denson, the left fielder, and that one's in there for a strike. You know, we've talked about Kyra, and again, you know, for her, she's had some really good outings. She's thrown some really good stuff, but she just hasn't been as consistent as I know she would want, and certainly what the staff for Oklahoma State would want throughout the course of the season.
I agree. I think she just kind of needs to, exactly what you said, find that consistency and just try to command the zone a little bit better. I think when we see her get hit pretty hard is when she's leaving balls over the middle and also giving up walks. So if she can just find a way to consistently hit those corners of the zone, she's going to be very effective and hard to hit.
Denson fouls off a couple down the left side, and Denson again batting .402. She has been great at getting on base this year. On base percentage .437. 6 doubles and 2 triples on the season. Obviously tremendous speed as that one is hit into left field. Lexi McDonald gets the start in left today for the Cowgirls, and she will get underneath that one for out number 1. Lexi McDonald had 2 home runs in the Houston series and a grand slam as Monty Edwards out of Tomball, Texas, the senior, batting .408. 3 home runs, 25 RBI on the season. That one is hit hard to Rosie Davis. Easily fields it, throws it over to Godwin, and 2 gone here in the top of the first. So that's a big get right there to get Edwards out off the first pitch, and continue moving on this lineup is Haley Morgan from Durant, Oklahoma, a senior, batting .311 with a couple of home runs on the year in the 3-hole.
Yeah, with Mackenzie Denson and Imani Edwards being such good hitters at the top of the lineup, both with very high averages and high on-base percentages, for Kyra Aycock to start the game and get both those 2 out right away is a big confidence boost for her.
Yeah, showing good control early, and that's part of getting out early and being a part of that consistency. And Megan Bloodworth comes over with a word of encouragement as Haley Morgan, the center fielder, gets ahead 2-0. And now 2-1. Morgan batting .311, has a couple of home runs on the team, 3rd best, actually 4th best on the team. Here's the 2-1. That one misses tall, and the count goes to 3-1. You know, this is the kind of consistency we're talking about. Go out there and get that first batter, second batter, and then not struggle with the next batter. Get that 3rd out and get your team off the field. And that's kind of what had been the problem, but may not be a problem here as Jillian Poulard in for Talon Edwards makes the play, and the Hurricane go down in order. It's 0-0 here in Stillwater.
When severe storms strike, my job is just beginning.
And hour after hour, I'm striking the perfect balance of reliable, affordable energy sources to energize your days.
So homework gets done.
And business goes uninterrupted. Because at OG&E, your storms are our storms.
Your home is our home.
And together, we energize life.
At Brahms, we offer more than just burgers, shakes, and fries. We have an entire fresh market for your everyday grocery needs, from farm fresh milk to meats, freshly baked breads, and produce. We also carry a wide variety of our premium ice cream, frozen yogurt, and sherbet. And with Brahms delivery trucks running 7 days a week, our items are always fresh. Stop by your neighborhood Brahms Fresh Market for an incredibly fast, incredibly convenient grocery shopping experience, so you can spend more time on things.
0-0 our score. Jillian Poulard, followed by Carly Godwin, Caroline Wong, Michaela Wark, who had a couple of hits against Tulsa the last time, Rosie Davis, McDonald, Tim Bloodworth, the shortstop, and Schneidmiller behind the plate. We'll get the start tonight. Caroline Wong, again, had a great outing, and we'll tell you more about that. And in the circle for the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, and Annika Anderson, 7-2, 3.05 ERA, and 62 innings pitched.
Yeah, Anderson, the freshman, getting the start tonight. Oklahoma State has not seen her pitch before, so a good little mix-up for them. She's going to work a hard rise ball on either side of the plate. She throws in the upper 60s. She's very good at getting ahead on batters and is super effective when she commands the zone.
Starts with a strike and a foul ball, so 0-2 to Poulard here. And again, keep in mind, this is a game that back in Tulsa that was just a very, very tough game. Both teams pitched it well. One little error, pretty much the difference in that ball game, and Tulsa went on to get the win. And whatever Anderson saw on her wristband she didn't like, Poulard backs away, now steps back in with the 0-2 count. Interesting talking to Coach Chrissy Strimple, the fifth-year head coach, 19 years overall at Tulsa. Was there with John Barfeld, who became the pitching coach for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. And she said, I had to get my own rhythm. I had to get my staff in place, had to be able to do that, be able to find people that I could trust. And she said, I'm now more of a manager. I can do the managerial things and let some of these other coaches do some of the day-to-day stuff. So it's been a process, and she feels very comfortable where she is right now.
Yeah, and also when she mentioned that Jessica Dresswick, the pitching coach, with her coming onto the staff this year, she's been able to kind of take over, the pitching staff and handle calling the pitches and really focusing on that. So that has allowed Coach Strimple to really just be a manager.
That allows her to, again, have the overall picture, the overarching picture, and she's done a great job. 19 years with Tulsa. It's a good job by Jillian to fight off some pitches and earn a walk and become the first base runner of the ball game. First for Oklahoma State, and the Cowgirls now will turn to Carly Godwin. As Godwin, the first baseman, will get an opportunity here. Godwin out of North Carolina. East Columbus High School batting .358. That one is hit, foul, and unplayable. Just far enough behind the third baseman, Cole, who's playing third baseman for the first time, stepping in for Skaggs, and in front of Denson far enough that neither one of those players could get to it. Godwin, the number 8 recruit in the class of 2023. A huge get for Oklahoma State, and she's had a terrific campaign.
She's been really impressive as a freshman to come in and do what she's done, especially bringing so much power to the Oklahoma State lineup. She just looks like a veteran when she's hitting.
Two and one here to Godwin. In front of that one, Poulard will try to steal and avoids the tag with the left hand, comes in with the right hand, and that's going to be close. And let's see if they decide to review this. I have a feeling they might. Let's take a look at it again. I mean, she was dead to rights, beat.
Yeah, this looks like
the tag may have missed her.
Exactly. This looks like a hit and run to me. Really just did a good job avoiding the tag on that one.
She did, and they do not challenge it, and Godwin will foul tip that into the glove of Kramer for the first out. And that'll bring up Caroline Wong. 4 home runs down in Houston, and man, she had a powerful weekend.
Yeah, Caroline Wong was swinging the ball so well, just no matter
the clubhouse for Oklahoma State. The record is 20. She's got 15. She needs 6 to break it. When the conversation was had between her and Kenny Gajewski that if I do it, will you shave off the beard down to a mustache?
I did not even know that. That's hilarious.
And he said, yeah, I tell you what, you get 21 and I'll do that. Well, at that point, she was at 11. She added 5 this weekend. As a great back pick right there by Wood to get that backhand on it and get the second out. So she hits 4, and now she's within 6 of the record. The beard may be gone. Let's take a look at this one again.
Yeah, Edwards makes a good play here at short. Kind of thought she was going to try to go and tag Jillian Poulard.
The out, number 2 here. Now to bring up Michaela Wark, the designated player for Oklahoma State. As I mentioned in the first game, she was 2 for 3 on the day. Only multiple hit player for the Cowgirls in that game, batting .291. You saw there. And the count evens 1-1 after that big cut. Here's the 1-1. Now it's fouled in the backstop. Strike 2. So Anderson's done a good job of coming in here on the road, and we talk about, it's one thing to be able to come in and compete as a freshman. It's another thing to be able to do it at home. To go on the road and to start out quickly. She's giving herself a chance. She did issue the walk to Pollard, who is at second after the steal. But she is out of the inning here, and I'm not even sure she knew that was strike number 3, but it is. And a couple of strikeouts, a ground out, and she's out of the first, and it's 0-0 here in Stillwater. We can move to the top of 2 as we continue. This is Big 12 Now on ESPN+. And she's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, Coach Strimple just really did a good job building a budget and stuff like that. So a lot of those things she was dealing with for a while, and now it seems like everything is really coming together for her and her staff.
Well, and can you imagine as a first-year head coach having to navigate that? It was hard enough for experienced coaches how to handle the mental aspect of the game on these young ladies that are trying to navigate being socially distanced and classes are online. Everything changed, and that was hard enough for a veteran. Fortunately, she had a lot of experience at Tulsa and been around, just had not been the head coach, but has done a great job there for Tulsa. As the first one is Kaylin Bearpaw, the right fielder, will ground out, and there's one gone in the top of 2. She's got a good group of coaches, too, that lots of personalities, different personalities. They all bring a little something different to the coach's room. Abby Jones, the second baseman.
Abby Jones coming off a great weekend against Wichita State. She actually had a grand slam in their game on Sunday and just super hot right now. She's hitting .444 in the last 5 games. So dangerous hitter for Kyra Aycock to face.
Coming off a winning 2 of 3 against Wichita State in the American Athletic Conference. Won the bookends games, lost the second game, but won game 1 and game 2. And that was a big series between those two teams. As the American, we talked to Coach about how many at-large teams this league could get. Last year it was 2. Automatic qualifier and 2 teams. And she felt like 3 as Jones draws the walk. But she felt like 2 for sure, 3 maybe, and she felt like she started stretching that to 4 or 5. She's really big on the competition right now in the American Athletic Conference. Felt like this is a league that is deserving. As Macy Cole, the junior, batting .296, will be up next with a runner at first. Again, Jones drawing the walk. She's at first, and the first pitch misses ball 1.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that the American is the 6th toughest conference in the country, which is super impressive and just shows how much better the conference is getting every single year. And the likelihood of more and more teams getting, a regional bid is just increasing.
No doubt about it. And good job by Schneidmiller, right? 5 straight balls here, and goes out and has a conversation with Kyra Aycock and tries to calm her down. Got the ground out, then the walk, and behind here, trying to make sure they're on the same page. And that one misses barely. 2-0. this is where, going back to what we've talked about enough already, consistency with Kyra. This is the point where she has an opportunity to show that growth because she's in that situation right now.
Exactly. You know, she's missed a few pitches, it looks like, kind of crossing up her catcher. Obviously walked a leadoff batter. So this is a good time for her to really just reel it in and trust her stuff and put her stuff in the zone and let them hit it. You know, she's got a really good defense behind her.
And misses there too. So back-to-back walks and runners at first and second. And Schneidmiller wants to call time again, wants to talk it over. They're going to change that ball up. Change the mojo a little bit. That's going to draw a conversation with Carrie Eberly, the pitching coach for the Cowgirls, coming out. And yeah, just a little unsettled here with, as you said, missing a couple of the pitches and put a couple on. And this is where, again, the conversation is probably exactly what you just said. Hey, trust your stuff right here. Even if we're talking about putting it in the zone, trust what you're going to do when that ball comes through. Defensively, we've got you, or you're going to get a strike.
Exactly. When Kyra Aycock is using her drop ball in the bottom half of the zone, just locating inside and outside on the plate, she's super effective. So if she could just really get a handle on that pitch right now, I think she would be very tough for Tulsa to barrel up.
Celeste Wood out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, with the Hillsdale High School. She starts with a strike. So good start to this at bat for Aycock here, and there's another called strike, 0-2. So whatever was said, up and out a little bit right now. Again, the Cowgirls mix it up a little bit. Lexi McDonald in left, Claire Tim in center. Caroline Wong, the normal catcher, is in right field as that one is hit to Rosie Davis. Rosie makes the throw in time for out number 2. Behind the plate is Audrey Schneidmiller. Left is Jillian Poulard, who is in for Talon Edwards. They haven't talked about that, but she's been out a while. And so, yeah, a little bit different defensive lineup for the Cowgirls, but still very capable as Emma Vickery steps in.
Yeah, I think with these midweeks we've seen the Oklahoma State lineup mix up a little bit, especially with Audrey Schneidmiller coming in to catch, give Caroline Wong a break from catching the series games. So a good mix-up for them.
Vickery, the catcher, starts out 1-0, but takes a strike on the outer half there for a 1-1 count. Runners at second and third, so Tulsa a chance to get an early run here. One thing this Cowgirl team has done is scored first throughout most of the season. They have been very effective at getting on the scoreboard first. And the 1-1 misses. 1-2. Excuse me, 2-1. Here, Kenny Gajewski or someone out of that dugout. Yelling, come and get her here. And there's a strike. Two, 2 gone, 2 on in the top of 2. It's too many twos as the count runs full at 3-2. Kyra Aycock trying to get out of the inning here. And that one's a little tall, and that's the third walk issued of the inning. That'll draw Rosie Davis and Megan Bloodworth in to encourage her as well, as the bases are full with players that are on board with walks.
Now batting the designated player, number 11, Kennedy Kramer.
Now to bring up the designated player, number 11, Kennedy Kramer. Batting .262, has a home run on the season. And there's a good way to start if you're Aycock. And for Kramer, you want to make sure that she's going to find the zone, so they've been kind of just seeing if what her comfort level is there. Taking that one. Here's the 0-1. And quickly behind 0-2. A lot of work here in this one for Kyra. trying to get out of it here. The 0-2. Swing and a miss and a strikeout and a big one and a calming strikeout for the Cowgirl fans. As the Cowgirls get through the top of 2, they don't give up any runs. It's 0-0 here on the campus of Oklahoma State University. AA tournament, all 8 of his previous 8 here. Led the Cowgirls to 4 Women's College World Series. Brought Oklahoma State its first Big 12 title in 22. You know, you played at Oklahoma State. You transferred from Purdue. How much of a factor was Kenny Gajewski in making that move?
A huge factor. I think the coaching staff, for me, was a huge priority and something I really focused on in my search for a new school. So Coach G really just made a good impression on me, and the whole staff did. So that was a big reason I ended up coming to Oklahoma State.
Kenny G has had a great success rate, if you will, in having transfers. And now as a Purdue grad and then coming to Oklahoma State, I have a feeling the men's NCAA championship intrigued you a little bit. Did you happen to make it to the semifinals? Is that what I heard?
I actually did. Yeah, I flew out to Phoenix on Saturday morning, was able to watch them play NC State and get the win.
Didn't hang around for the championship.
Actually didn't stay. That's probably why they lost, now that I think about it.
Yeah, you may not make Boilermaker fans happy there as Rosie Davis swings and misses and strikes out for the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for the Cowgirls.
Yeah, Annika Anderson just using her rise ball on the inner half, getting Rosie Davis to swing for it, even though it was way up in the zone.
Donald again had 2 home runs, including a grand slam in a game versus Houston. In fact, I think game 2, which the Cowgirls run-ruled Houston, and young lady out of Silo, Oklahoma. Just a sophomore, 3 home runs on the season. Only had 1 going into that game and came out of it with 3. Takes a ball and count evens at 1-1.
Yeah, it seems like Lexi McDonald has had a few starts, and she's really starting to feel comfortable being in the batting order. You know, like, especially last weekend on Saturday, had a huge game. Really just looks like she's being more aggressive at the plate.
More comfort level, able to compete there. It falls behind here 1-2. Good pitch by Anderson. Got her fooled on that one. 10 batters in this ball game. No hits as of yet. Very cleanly pitched game and played defensively as Lexi did chase that one up a little bit tall to become the 4th strikeout victim.
Another great pitch here by Anderson, able to use her rise ball. She does have very high velocity as well, so just kind of blowing it by Lexi McDonald. And with a 1-2 count, she's able to throw pitches like that out of the zone and try to get Oklahoma State to swing.
And the Cowgirls did, in fact, do that. So back-to-back, actually 3 consecutive strikeouts if you include the final out of the first inning, or excuse me, the first inning. Couple here in the second. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Claire Tim. Here's a called strike 1-1. Tim is kind of taking control of that center field position for Oklahoma State. That was a little bit of a revolving door at one point, but she has become the most consistent starter for the Cowgirls. Buena Park, California. That one is hit into center field, and the Cowgirls will go down in order. It's been a clean, quick game so far in Stillwater. It's 0-0. This is Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
These 2 men
Sides, and I think another big reason for that is because of how many returning players this Tulsa lineup has from the previous year. And, you know, Coach Strimple said experience is paramount, and I think that's what's really helping this team excel, both hitting and pitching, and just having those senior leadership as well.
Yeah, she talked a lot about her senior leaders and what they have meant. They are number 1 in batting average in the American, and you see why right there as Mackenzie Denson slaps that one into left field for the first hit of the ball game.
Yeah, Mackenzie Denson takes this pitch a little bit on the outer half and just doesn't do too much with it, slaps it through the 5-6 holes, able to lead off the inning with a single.
So base runner, the Golden Hurricane. And that is, going to be called safe at first. Terrific job by Amani Edwards. We talked about her speed, laid down the bunt, tried to sack bunt, but she is able to get there. Now we're going to have a challenge here, and she was called out by the umpire on the field. The coach wants to talk that one over. Boy, leaving the bases early has become a huge part of this season across the country.
It's definitely been a point of emphasis. I've seen so many plays just taken back because a runner has left early, and they didn't even have to challenge it, because usually they challenge it and it gets brought back, but umpire's able to catch that, I guess.
We'll try to take a look. Yeah, it was on the field, and here's a look at her leaving a little early. Oh, I don't see that. Right, sure if that maybe was the call or not. And we'll have to see what that call was. We've seen odd calls all year long, and been difficult to figure some of those things out. But there's one gone and one on. That's a big difference than two on and nobody out for Kyra Aycock and the Cowgirls. That one is chopped to Pollard. Throws across the diamond for out number 2. And Edwards will advance to second. So 2 gone, 1 on at second, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Caitlin Bearpaw. Rounded out to short her first time up.
Yeah, back to that ground ball to Jillian Poulard. You like to see her maybe get the out at 2 and get the lead runner on that, but with the speed of Amani Edwards, I think she makes a smart play and gets the safe out at 1.
I think you're right. I don't think it would have been a little risky trying to get that out at 2. You'd love to get the lead runner, right? But it's not, if you can't for sure get that out, go ahead and get the one you can get as Bearpaw. Has the count even at 1-1 to her. Right back to Kyra, fields it cleanly, throws to first, and we're done in the top of 3. We move to the home half of the 3rd. Interesting game so far, lots of moving parts. We will have more coming up right after this. Replay clearly off the knee, and Schneidmiller will show bunt, and it'll be a ball. Schneidmiller, the catcher from Burleson, Texas, sophomore. Batting .273. Normal starting catcher is Caroline Wong, who is in right field today for the Cowgirls. Trying to continue to develop infield, outfield to give Schneidmiller her opportunities. And she takes ball 2. So going back to that call, it would have been 2 on, nobody out. Instead, it was 1 on, 1 out. And that changed the complexion of that last half inning for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a huge momentum shift for Oklahoma State.
There's a bunt by Schneidmiller, and she's going to be thrown out. You know, what got lost in that, and you pointed this out as well, is Amani Edwards' bunt was absolutely beautiful.
Oh, yeah, just a perfect bunt. Amani Edwards laid down, killed it down the 3rd base line, and made Audrey Schneidmiller come out and field that, turn her body completely, and try to make that play. And with her speed, just a great bunt by her.
Absolutely, was able to get on first safely as Schneidmiller lays down a very good sack bunt, moves the runner over. 1 gone. We go back to the top of the order, and that is Jillian Pollard, who drew a walk her first time up. Get in for Talon Edwards, who had the ankle injury, and according to posts I have seen from the Edwards family, all the x-rays were negative, which means she'll be back sooner than later, which is awesome news for Oklahoma State. I went in there for a call and strike, 1-1.
Yeah, with Jillian Poulard, she is one of, the players that has been in and out of the lineup this season for Oklahoma State. And she actually hit 2 home runs last weekend, so definitely making the most of her opportunities.
Transfer out of McNeese State. And that one is ripped into center field into the gap, and there's a single for Jillian, and that's another good start, and she will be on first for Oklahoma State. And the Cowgirls able to score the run all the way around from first.
Yeah, she just takes this outside pitch, probably a rise ball in the outer half.
For the score, and Bloodworth showing her speed.
Exactly, and she got a great read off second, knew that ball was down off the bat, and just sprinted all the way home, able to not even make it close. They didn't even try to make a throw.
So, again, go back a little bit and retrace my steps. The Cowgirls had the sack bunt from Schneidmiller, so she was actually at second. I again, missed that step for just a minute and trying to figure out how on earth she got all the way around. I thought she would look like Flash Gordon there for a minute, but actually she was at second. She was in scoring position to start that at bat, and that one is going to be a fly out for Godwin. Out to center field for out number 2. So, not to take away anything from Bloodworth's speed, but I missed a step in there. She's still quick, but she came from second, not from first, as Caroline Wong will step in for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Caroline Wong comes from an absolutely incredibly talented family. As she fouls that one off. Her father, John, had a 10-year NFL career with the Philadelphia Eagles, New York Jets, and won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. Her mother, Jenny, was a gymnast at Auburn. Her sister played softball at Chattanooga. Her grandfather played 6 years of professional football with the Chargers and the Bills. I mean, we've talked about siblings and families, and I mean, Caroline Wong comes from obviously a very talented bloodline.
Yeah, that's super impressive, and it's just in her genes, I guess. You know, her parents, obviously amazing athletes, her sister.
And she hits that one, rips it back up to center. It's a line drive. Morgan gets it on a one hop, gets it back in. And the Cowgirls have runners at first and second, but 2 gone here. Caroline Wong shows her strength, had the big weekend in Houston, and continues to keep a hot bat here in Stillwater. So Anderson had a really good first couple of innings, giving up a couple of hits and 1 run here in the third. And again, the run that scored was the one that she hit. That was Bloodworth. And that'll let Wark, who struck out her first time up, have an opportunity with a runner in scoring position. Fouled right into the top of the backstop. A little bit cooler here than it has been the last few days in Stillwater. Lots of wind, though, throughout the early parts of this spring. And the wind still a factor here today. Not quite as much as it has been. Flag still blowing in as Wart. Big cut, empty, and there is a strike. 1-2.
Yeah, this is a really good opportunity for Oklahoma State to break this game open. If Michaela Wark is able to come through and get a clutch hit with 2 outs and keep the momentum, then it's really hard to stop them when their offense gets going.
Trying to do damage with those 2 outs, and there's a good take by Michaela Wark. 2-2 with 2 gone. Both teams with a couple of hits so far. That one comes inside to run the count full. Wark struck out her first time up, learned something from that first at bat, not chasing here, and has the count now at 3-2. Batting .360 with runners in scoring position. And she draws ball 4. It's not a hit, but it continues that momentum you were just talking about.
Exactly. Great at bat there by Michaela Wark to work the count and able to draw the walk and pass the bat.
That'll bring a visit out from the Tulsa dugout, and you're going to talk it over here as Coach Sandra Owens will come out and discuss. Actually, Coach Dresswick, I believe, is the one in the circle, and coming out and talking to that youngster and trying to settle her down a little bit. And again, that's a good start. Now Oklahoma State's back through the order a couple of times, made some adjustments, and as a freshman, you just got to hang in there and get a word of encouragement, maybe slow the game down for you just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, kind of just try to break up the momentum that Oklahoma State has going. Anderson is pitching great so far. She's had some good strikeouts, and, the walk, or the hit by pitch, to start the inning kind of came back to bite her. That'd be the only run so far. So if she can get out of this one, her team still looks really good heading into the top of the fourth.
Gives her a little momentum, too. That's exactly right. Tulsa has left 4 on the bags. The Cowgirls have left 1. But if she can get out of this, that would be the same situation. Both teams leaving 4 on early. And starts out with a good pitch there to Rosie Davis.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the stats earlier today, too. And shout out to the Oklahoma State SID Surge for pointing out that Oklahoma State's hitting .346 with runners in scoring position. So going to boost that stat now.
Absolutely it is. And the Cowgirls get the RBI, 2 RBI single. But coming around to third is Michaela Wark, and the throw will get her as they cut it off. But still 2 more on the board for the Cowgirls. So the Cowgirls take a 3-0 lead off of a Jillian Pillard RBI single. And the Cowgirls up by 3 in Stillwater.
And honestly, have an offensive explosion there. Hit so many home runs. The pitchers held it down. It was a great weekend for them, especially after they played North Texas on Wednesday and just continued on to Houston. So a long week for them, a lot of traveling, but they got it done on the road.
Did indeed. Got 4 wins on the road last week as Abby Jones takes ball 2. Drew a walker first time up. And ahead in the count here, 2-0. Cowgirls got the 3 runs in the third, so giving Kyra Aycock a little bit of run support here. And let's see if she continues to come out and throw and can keep herself out of trouble. They had runners at second and third, speaking of Tulsa. And Oklahoma State was able to get out of that. And 4 runners left on for Tulsa. The Cowgirls have stranded 2. Jones a pitch away from getting her second walk, and she does. Leadoff walk, and again, 3 walks issued in the last inning for Tulsa, or for Kyra Aycock, and Tulsa able to get 3 walks and loaded the bases up, but got a strikeout to wrap up the inning as Macy Cole will step in. Also one of the walks issued before. And there's a strike.
Yeah, Tulsa has been putting some pressure on Oklahoma State, the defense, and Kyra Aycock, making her work in these at-bats. And I think they're just really looking for a clutch hit and try to just string some things together, and they'll be able to get some runs on the board.
1-1 count here, and we're going to try to get confirmation again. We talked about what the situation would have been in the last inning as Mackenzie Denson was caught with was actually a look-back rule. Runners must be aware of when the pitcher has gained possession of the ball inside the circle. Difference in the codes with regards to the runner's obligations. The NCAA, if the runners are moving between 2 bases, they may immediately stop and go back. But if they keep moving forward, they may not go back to the previous base unless the pitcher makes a play. And making a play there is Claire Tim. So that's about as clear as the Cimarron River. And whatever that all amounts to led to an out for Tulsa. Instead of having 2 on, nobody out, it ended up being 1 out and 1 on. And you as a player, have you ever been called for the look-back rule?
No, to be completely honest, I haven't. I know of kind kind of like you're not supposed to go back once the pitcher has the ball and looks at you, but it's a tricky rule. Like, really never happens, so.
Boy, again, thinking that's probably not a reviewable play. She was obviously on the bag. That's why we were confused with the potential leaving early. But she did not leave early. Celeste Wood, the first baseman, grounded out her last time up. Runner at first. It's Abby Jones drew the walk. 1 gone, 0-2 pitch off the plate, 1-2. Cowgirls have out-hit Tulsa 3-2. Those 3 hits have led to 3 runs for Oklahoma State. That one is hit into left field, and that's going to move the runners around. There's a double by Wood, and the runners will move up to second and third with 1 gone. It's a good big-time power hit.
Yeah,
opposite direction.
Good piece of hitting there by Wood. She takes that pitch on the outer half and just punches it out to the left field wall, able to get it all the way to the wall. Looking good for the Tulsa offense right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gave up 3 in the last half inning, so if you can come back and get 1 or 2 and hang in this ball game, you just don't want to let Oklahoma leak out on you. Oklahoma State to leak out after you beat them the last time. Close ball game. Want to make sure you stay close here and not let that offense get going, because Oklahoma State is capable of run-rolling you if you let that offense go and you don't continue to chip away and keep yourself in this ball game. Already left 4, do not want to leave 2 more. Vickery, the catcher, 1-1 with 1 out, and that one is chopped in the dirt. Bloodworth comes on, makes the throw to first. Great effort right there. She and Rosie Davis nearly had a traffic jam. Bloodworth called her off, and that's a terrific play.
Yeah, that was a high chopper to Megan Bloodworth, and she does a really good job checking the runner at third base. I'm not sure why the runner at third base didn't just take off on that one, but really good play by Megan Bloodworth to charge in and still get the out at 1.
I agree completely. I do not know why the runner at third didn't go, and that's why you might have let her go, as Kramer grounds out to first and ends the threat here by Tulsa. Never seen a slapper from the right side, but that's what we saw. It's 3-0 Cowgirls on top at Stillwater.
In a row, both of them, is super impressive, and just all of the competition in Oklahoma has been on the rise.
Absolutely, and the only 2 teams that can make that claim is Lexi McDonald takes strike 1. Lexi McDonald, again, we had talked about her, and 0 for 1 with a strikeout, 3 home runs on the season, 2 of those in 1 game against Houston last weekend, including that grand slam. The 0-1 is off the plate, 1-1. By the way, you may notice the Cowgirls turquoise jerseys. This is Oklahoma State's partnership with Nike, and it's the N7 project. OSU men's and women's basketball programs, along with softball, proudly wear turquoise uniforms for select games to honor Native American and Aboriginal heritage. The color turquoise represents harmony, friendship, and fellowship in the Native American culture. Along with OSU, there are 8 other schools participating in the initiative. This was a basketball initiative, and Oklahoma State reached out and said, hey, we want to do this in softball. And it's my understanding that Oklahoma State was the first team, softball-wise, that became a part of the N7 project. And it was pretty cool. Bear Claw, who is the number 4 hole hitter for Tulsa, the right fielder, she was out there before the game. Oklahoma State plays hacky sack and throws the football around. They were playing stickball, which is an indigenous Native American game that goes way back, and they were out there throwing that thing around with 2 sticks and a ball, and they were having a grand old time. I tell you, it was impressive. It was really cool to see. So obviously, these programs embracing the heritage of the members of their team, and that's always a really cool thing. So 3-2 here to Lexi McDonald, and there's ball 4. So Lexi, good at bat, and gets over there on first. There's a good look at Scott and David in the middle of your screen, and those turquoise uniforms, N7 jerseys for Oklahoma State. So the Cowgirls will go with the pinch hitter. That is Tia Warsup out of Northampton, England. A freshman, and she will get her opportunity coming in for pinch hitting for Claire Tim. And running at first for Lexi McDonald is Sokolowski.
Now batting the center fielder, number 9, Tia Warsaw.
Another young lady with a lot of speed for the Cowgirls, right?
Exactly. I was actually just going to say I wouldn't be surprised to see her try to bunt, especially with, the leadoff runner getting on a good time for a sacrifice. But with Tia Warsaw being so fast, she can also bunt for a hit and also try to beat it out and get a hit.
Slaps that one down to third, does move the runner over and does exactly what you said. It won't beat it out, but does lay that one down and at least put a little pressure on Cole. Again, keep in mind Cole is playing third for the first time this year. She is in for the injured Skaggs, and so put a little pressure on her, but she proved she can handle the hot corner pretty well right there.
Exactly. Very smooth play by the third baseman Cole, especially with the speed of Tia Warsup. She fields that ball cleanly, makes a good strong throw over to first.
That'll bring up Megan Bloodworth, who scored earlier for Oklahoma State. Hit by pitch. Audrey Schneidmiller bunted her over to second and was able to score on the RBI from Jillian. And she shows bunt there as well. Another speedster for Oklahoma State. Wood, the first baseman, closing fast on that bunt. And now with an 0-2, they will back her up. Normal depth at first. I looked like it was going to be off the plate, but Bloodworth does a good job of making contact, staying alive.
Yeah, with Megan Bloodworth standing so close to the plate, you see Anderson trying to work her away, not wanting to come back in and risk hitting her again, I'm sure.
That went tall out of the zone. Got to go to 1-2, and again, Kenny Gajewski he's not result oriented. He is competitive oriented when it comes to at bats. The 1-2, that one's hit over the head of the second baseman Jones. It's going to potentially score a run. It will not. Instead, Sokolowski will turn and come back. But the Cowgirls have runners at the corners at first and third after the single from the shortstop Bloodworth for Oklahoma State.
Megan Bloodworth does a good job. She knows she's getting pitched away, goes down and gets this pitch, able to punch it into right field. And Hayden Sokolowski.
I did not say relay by Bear Paw, and this was going to be into right field and a sack situation here, and they got it. That's a terrific throw again by Bear Paw, and she's able to get Sokolowski. So she does it 2 times in a row, shows off the arm, and she put it on the line. And the Cowgirls get caught trying to come home, but the Cowgirls still have a 3-0 lead here in Stillwater. Out at home. In 5 years, but COVID, you really didn't get that COVID year, right? So it is crazy to think that she's had 15 home runs already this season, and it's been she's just had a terrific year coming from Liberty, where she was outstanding and has fit in here like she belonged here from day one.
Exactly. I think that's just, she's the exact player that Oklahoma State really needed, having so many players in the lineup who had been there for so long, graduating last year. For her to come in, bring that senior leadership as a 5th year, and also just how powerful she is and how consistent she is she's just been so important.
Mackenzie Denson flying out in the first, had a single in the third. Her third at-bat of the day, leading things off here in the top of the 5th. Kyra's only 61 pitches so far.
Sorry. Denson, just another one of those senior leaders that Coach Strimple talked about. At the top of the lineup, the team really feeds off of her calmness and kind of stoicness in the box, and it's always a relief for them when she can get on and start up their offense.
You know, that's exactly right. It's the word I took out of that conversation as well. She said she's just calming. I mean, she gets up there, you know, you can be in a very adverse situation. The game's chaotic. Things are crazy. She goes up there very calmly, gets her hits, and everybody seems to follow that calmness, as you said, and that has worked well for them. And she runs the count to 3-2 here. Both teams leaving some runners on. 6 for Tulsa, 3 for Oklahoma State, as that one is going to be hit to Bloodworth. Fields it, throws it, and the speed makes it close, but out at first for one gone in the top of the 5th. Nice job by Bloodworth to come to the ball, make the play, and there's out one into Monty Edwards, another speedster, the shortstop. Batting .410 on the season, 1 for 2 today. Had the ground out in the first, had a single in the third. 4 hits for the Cowgirls, 3 for the Golden Hurricane. Four triples on the year for Edwards, giving you an idea of just how much speed she does have.
Yeah, looking at the top 3 in the Tulsa lineup, just tons of stolen bases, those top 3, and you know, they're all kind of small ball, they can bunt, slap, so it's very tough to defend when you have hitters that are very dynamic, they have speed, power, and just put the ball in play and put a lot of pressure on the defense.
You know, for Kyra, you know, we talked about needing consistency, and she had the walks, and she's given up a couple of hits, but for the most part, she's done a really good job of keeping the ball down tonight.
Exactly. She's really been using her defense, getting a ton of ground outs. That one not able to be completed for an out, but still, you know, getting the ball on the ground and making her defense work.
9 ground outs so far in the ball game. That could have been 10th, but that did deflect off the glove of Pillard. And Edwards walking off a little bit of an injury. Didn't see it down the line, holding that left ankle. I'm not sure if she hit the bag awkwardly, or so we take another look and see what happened here. It didn't look like she immediately felt it until she took. And her speed is one of her true assets, one of the things that makes her so special. So that would be a big injury for her if the wheel is not fully functional. It's a great job right there. You know, Bloodworth, good job too, because that ball got ticked off of Pillard's hand, off her glove. Bloodworth got to it, still made a throw. Now Edwards was down the line, but pretty good effort there with the Cowgirls defensively. That'll be the 4th hit of the ball game for Tulsa. Both teams now with 4. That'll bring up the center fielder, Haley Morgan, of the 9 groundouts. She represents 2 grounded out in the first and third, both to third base. Takes a deep breath, tries to settle back down and get her team going in here. 1-0, then she showed bunt. They say she did not go around, and that's ball 2. Cowgirls do have a little bit of warming up going on in the bullpen. Just getting started. We've seen a few kids get up for just a little bit, but now back to starting from the very beginning over there. Somebody flipping close to the catcher is the 3-0. Off the plate 4 straight balls, and Morgan draws the walk. See if that increases the activity as the Cowgirls head coach Kenny Gajewski will come out of the dugout. Kaylin Bearpaw, the right fielder, grounded out a couple of times. She will come in, and Kyra's issued 5 walks today. Again, that's not the consistency she's wanting. She's pitched really well, but that's too many free base runners as Ivy Rosenberry will come in for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I think this is a great time to make a change because with Bear Paw coming up, she's one of the hottest hitters in the Tulsa lineup. She went 530. She hit 538 last week in their 5 games with 7 hits, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. So good time to make a change.
Position and right-hand man for a lot of the operations at Oklahoma State Cowboy football, but he had once upon a time had a show called The Real Deal Sports Show. The Real Deal Sports. No wonder he's so adept at being able to throw out these stats in such a clever way. Who knew? I've been doing my checking and doing a little research on my stat guy. He is the best for a reason. Tulsa trying to chip away at that 3-0 deficit. Runners at first and second, and that one's going to be hit into right field. Or excuse me, it drifts into right field. But Claire Tim, actually Warsop, who made the change a little bit ago, comes in and runs that down, and that's terrific speed with Warsop because it looked like it was going to drift and maybe fall in there.
Yeah, Warsop able to run that one down. It kind of looked to me like Bear Paw got jammed up on the inner half and kind of just flared that ball out there, but Warsop able to run it down and prevent any runners from advancing as well.
So 2 gone, and again, already 6 left by Tulsa. They're in jeopardy of leaving 2 more if Abby Jones can't make something happen here. Abby has been good at getting on base so far today. Drew a walk in the 2nd and in the 4th. So she's been on base both plate appearances so far today. This is ball 2. So again, Abby Jones ahead in the count here. Just hasn't chased anything off the plate, whether it was Kyra pitching and now Ivy. And comes around on that one for half-hearted swing and strike 1. 4 home runs in the season, batting .345. Big cut, and the count evens at 2-2. You know, with the velocity of the pitch from Ivy, she is just not afraid to come in the zone and work it. She knows she can get it by you. That one misses 3-2.
It makes it really tough, too, when she's hitting that inner half because as a batter, when a pitcher throws high velocity and they can locate it inside very well, you really have to get your foot down and open up your hips to hit that pitch. So really hard pitch to hit. And
does so there. Warsop will make a throw at home, and it's going to be cut off, and Tulsa is able to put one on the board. As coming around is Amani Edwards off of the single by Abby Jones, who's having a heck of a day.
Yeah, this is a really good swing by Abby Jones. She knew that Ivy was pounding her in. She's able to keep her hands inside of that ball and punch it out to center field and bring the run around.
Amani Edwards able to... 5 hits for Tulsa. The Cowgirls have a 3-1 lead, but Tulsa chipping away right here. Would love to get one more at least across to just give yourself a chance here in the last couple of innings. Coaches say it all the time. You don't need them all back all at once. Just need to work our way back into this ball game, and that's exactly what that RBI single did. And Macy Cole can take one more step in making that happen for Tulsa. The 2-0, big cut, strike, 2-1. Coach talked about this team. She told us, you know, I think Tyler, our producer, asked her about the story of this team. And she said the story of this team is where they're made up of fighters. We just fight and we fight and we fight and we will do it until the very end. And we're seeing a good example of that so far today.
Yeah, she mentioned they had some awesome comeback wins. And here you can see again, they're just taking good swings and putting balls in play.
They do, and they get one across. They can't get more. They do strand now 8, but they have at least got within striking distance. It's 3-1. Cowgirls on top in Stillwater.
Got the cabin for 3 days. It's going to be sweet. What? I'm 12 hours short.
Came out. Texas is number 1. Oklahoma fell to number 2. Duke followed by Tennessee. And the Oklahoma State Cowgirls got one first-place vote. Our number 5, LSU, Stanford, Georgia, Florida, and Washington. Interestingly enough, in the coaches' poll as well, Kenny Gajewski has a vote, and I asked him how he voted it. And he said publicly, so it is on record. He voted Oklahoma 1, Texas 2, and Oklahoma State 3. The team that he thinks is getting not nearly enough respect is Georgia. He said they have played 17 top quad-type ball games and opponents, and he said he's been extremely impressed, obviously, with them. One of the losses for Oklahoma State. The thing is, Oklahoma State right now is still, they're still proving themselves, but getting that first place vote, seeing what they're done, they have definitely gotten the national attention again with a very new roster as opposed to last season.
Exactly. They have yet to lose a Big 12 series, and knowing how competitive the Big 12 is this year, that's super impressive. So looking at the rankings shuffle around a bit, it's fun to see every week, who's going to end up in the top 5.
Indeed it is. And, for Oklahoma State, as Jillian hits that one right back to a brand new pitcher. And the throw made, it's Kylie Nash, out of Three Rivers, Michigan, as she fielded that one cleanly and makes the throw over to first.
Yeah, Kylie Nash is going to come in and give a different look. She throws a hard drop ball and mostly works side to side in the zone. So we already see that drop ball going bottom of the 5th.
Nash picks things up here in the 5th, and Carly Godwin swings at the first pitch. Fouls that one off with the right side. I want to go back to what you were talking about. The Cowgirls in the Big 12, they got Texas Tech, still have Kansas, going to Iowa State this weekend. I'm sure we'll look at the schedule in a bit. But then that sets up that Oklahoma series, and Kansas will be coming in here, which is playing so much better as of late. But when you look at the fact that the Cowgirls beat Texas 2 out of 3, Texas beat Oklahoma 2 out of 3, in Bedlam, it's too far down the road, right? As coaches, you can't look that far down the road. Kenny G will not allow himself to look that far down the road. But that series could be spectacular.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. It's going to be so much fun. One of those series that I think everyone in the softball world just really looks forward to every year. And especially being right at the end, so close to postseason, it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, you don't want to wish the process away, right? But I think that's a great point as Carly reaches for that one for the strikeout. I think you're exactly right when you say the softball world. I think, there are matchups you want to see. You want to see LSU and Georgia. You want to see Oklahoma State, Texas. You want to see Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. The softball world will be glued to that weekend in that series. That is going to be a fun one for sure.
I think that also kind of goes back to what Coach Strimple was saying about how the American Conference is so competitive this year as well. And she said that the top 4 teams are probably going to be decided the very last weekend of conference play. And that just shows how competitive it is. And I think it's going to be very similar in the Big 12. So it's a lot of fun to watch.
I agree with that. And again, the American has been proven to be very good. 3 teams went to the NCAA tournament last year. Trying to get 4. Coach said, we might get 5. She felt like there was definitely a league that should get 3 at-large bids for sure. And again, stretch that number. She kept talking. I thought she was going to get to all of them there for a minute. But and if you look at Oklahoma, look at the Big 12, it's going to be very interesting because you've got 4 teams that really seem deserving as Caroline Wong hits that one to the track. Wow. 16 was close, but that one drifts in there, falls harmlessly into center field for an out. So the Cowgirls go down quietly here in the bottom of the 5th. It's 3-1.
For so many reasons, a couple of them being the pressure situations that come up and, not getting rattled in those big moments and just having so many girls on the field that know the way of the Tulsa softball program and can kind of help the younger girls, get embedded into the culture there.
And I'm curious because we hear that word so much, right, as Celeste Wood steps in, takes strike 1. The word culture and passing on the legacy and teaching the younger kids. When you were a freshman and sophomore, were you in awe of and learned from the juniors and seniors. Is that truly how that baton was passed for you? As that one is chopped to Jillian. Jillian Pilar throws across the diamond for out number 1. Is that the way it worked for you?
Yes, 100%. We had, my first year at Purdue, we had some amazing seniors who I'm still really good friends with to this day, just because I wanted to be so close to the girls who had been there and knew, just what to do, and they just always providing guidance for us as freshmen. You kind of come in there and everything is just so big and you don't know what's going on. Everything seems like it's moving so fast, but to have those people that can kind of ground you and just guide you through it is amazing. So I'm sure the Tulsa freshmen and sophomores are really benefiting from that experience.
I want to follow that thought up, but Kylie Nash, the right-handed pitcher who's coming in now and is pitching for Tulsa, is also going to hit as well. And this will be her first at-bat of the ball game. 1 gone, nobody on for Tulsa, and take strike 1. Did you feel the same responsibility when you became a junior, senior, when you came to Oklahoma State, even in your first year as an upperclassman, to provide that for the younger kids coming in?
Yeah, I definitely think as you get older, you naturally fall into, just being one of those people, especially if you have a lot of time on the field, you have a lot of experience in, the big games and stuff like that. A lot of people are just naturally going to look up to those players. So coming into Oklahoma State, I was, really looking up to players like Kelly Naomi and Shy Factor, who had been there for so long, and even myself being there that long, I still needed people like that to look up to. But Ivy Rosenberry with a good strikeout there, drop ball in the outer half, able to get Kylie Nash to swing through that one.
So 2 gone, and that'll bring up Kennedy Kramer, the designated hitter, 0 for 2 on the day. And the Cowgirls will make a change as well. Scotland David will go into right field, and Carolyn Wong will get to come out for the rest of the day. From a leadership standpoint, how often do young people, freshmen, sophomores, fall in line, and how often does a junior, senior have to go to them and say, all right, that's not the way we do it here? You ever have to have one of those uncomfortable conversations?
Yeah, it definitely happens, and that's all part of being a freshman. You're going to come in and make mistakes, and I think that's just what makes being a leader so fun and so hard at the same time, is really just trying to bring those freshmen into the culture of the program and show them the way. But having those conversations also very tough, because you kind of have to be the second coach, I guess, and discipline, I don't know, but that's just what comes with being a leader. And if you want to be a good team, you got to have good leaders.
And Coach Kenny Gajewski relies on those upperclassmen, right, to make that happen. He wants this to be a player-driven program. He's talked about that forever, and that's kind of falls in line with what you're saying.
Exactly. The leaders on the Oklahoma State team are so good at holding everyone accountable, and that's what makes them so good.
Big cut there by Kramer, and the culture is fantastic. I know that word is used a lot, and it can be overused. But I do think it's a healthy, strong culture for many of the programs that we get a chance to talk about, and certainly Oklahoma State. 2-2 here for Kramer. Swing and a miss. Strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts. Retires the side for Tulsa. And we are through 5.5. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Cowgirls on top 3-1. This is Big 12 now on EM. Obviously, you feel good about what Ivy Rosenberry can do shutting down the rest of the way. But if you're Oklahoma State, you want to create a little more separation right here.
Exactly. You definitely want more insurance runs, especially with Tulsa having such a good offense with the top of their lineup coming up in the 7th. You want to get as many runs as you can on them.
Here's the 2-1 to Michaela Wark. That one is spun into the backstop. It's 2-2. Good job so far by Nash coming in and trying to keep the Cowgirls at bay. Came in last inning, got the strikeout, got the fly out, and trying to hold this differential at 2 within striking distance, as we said, for her team the rest of the way. But Michaela Wark hits that one strongly into left field. And another base hit for Oklahoma State. It's a good at-bat there by Michaela and gives the Cowgirls a base runner here. Opportunities we talked about to increase that lead.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of an off-speed there from Kylie Nash. It looked like it kind of hung up a little bit. Michaela Work was able to hold back, keep her hands back, and punch it through the 5-6 hole.
And the Cowgirls, looks like they're going to have a pinch runner come in. That'll be number 25 for Oklahoma State. Macy Graff will come in out of Aledo, Texas, Mississippi State transfer. Talk about her development as she continues to try to earn more playing time and contributing here as a pinch runner.
Exactly. Macy Graff is just one of those scrappy players who just has a great eye at the plate and, kind of just been in and out, gotten a few opportunities, but a great option for, runner, pinch hitter. She's done very well in her opportunities.
Rosie Davis, the second. There's a good look at Macy over there. Yeah, out of Aledo, Texas. Batting for the Cowgirls, the second baseman, Rosie Davis. She is 1 for 2 today. Had the strikeout in the second, but had the 2 RBI single in the third. And the throw over goes into right field. Bear Claw will have to back it up, but that lets Graff advance to second. So an error on the throw, and the Cowgirls have a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, it looks like the second baseman comes over to cover that, and the throw a little too far down the right field line and kind of just...
You protected the second baseman. Put that on the catcher.
I mean, I think it was a catchable throw, but it's also tough as a second baseman to come over and cover first base on a pick. So could have been a better throw, but also could have gotten to the bag and maybe caught it, but obviously I'm going to protect my second baseman.
Absolutely, exactly. As Davis fouls that one off, count evens at 2-2. So speed at second base for Oklahoma State. As I mentioned, Rosie Davis, that 2 RBI single she had. It's the same play than which I believe it was Godwin was called out at third. After that one got relayed inside, and speaking of inside, that pitch was inside. The count is it goes full at 3-2.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say too when Rosie Davis got that hit with runners in scoring position that Oklahoma State coming into this game is hitting .346 with runners in scoring position. Rosie Davis, who is 15 for 25. Coming into this game, and she was able to come up big in that moment and get another clutch hit with runners in scoring position.
Absolutely, she was. This time she flies out, and the Cowgirls have one gone here in the bottom of the 6th. And another time here, we may have, well, let's see, going to re-enter McDonald. That's what's happening here is Davis flies out to left field. Runner was Michaela Ward, got the single. Macy Graff will come in for her, and that brings up Lexi McDonald. Interesting story from Coach Kenny Gajewski. He said, I had 2 players I wanted to play last week in Houston. Trying to determine which one I wanted to put in there. Looking for a little fire, looking for something. I went to Lexi McDonald. I said, here's what I need. Are you ready to play? She said, absolutely. He said, are you going to give me what I need? She said, absolutely. He said, I love the answers. I gave her the chance, and she certainly made the most of it with those home runs in that Houston game.
And that's exactly, I think, what you want to hear as a coach, going to your players and saying, hey, you might get an opportunity today. Are you ready? And them just being so confident and so enthusiastic and ready to get out on the field and compete. It's exactly what you want as coach.
Absolutely. And so Lexi gave him the correct answers, and she's battled and been competitive and continues to earn more and more playing time. For the number 5 team in the country, think about that. I mean, you're trying to earn playing time, and that's not easy. This is a very talented roster, as that one is going to drift into foul territory, but Cole is there. She kind of fought that. The ball fought her a little bit, but she's able to get over there and make the catch.
Yeah, great play there by Cole to scale all the way back into, the grass and get that ball. It's a tough play. And then Edwards was able to come over and cover third to protect the runner from advancing.
Tia Warsop came in for Claire Tim at center field. Her first time up, got the sack bunt. Slapped it down the third base line, moved the runner over. And the Cowgirls fall behind here, 0-2. Warsop began with a runner at second, trying to add to that run total, give the Cowgirls just a little more cushion as we go to the top of the seventh. And a check swing. She's called for the strike and a strikeout. That'll end the sixth inning. No hits for the Cowgirls. The Cowgirls still with a 3-1 lead here in Stillwater.
In the most important moments, one play.
It was Baby Green that we had a shot of, and the wrong one. we have a colorblind producer, Tyler. He wasn't sure which one it is. Just kidding, as that one is hit into left field, and Macy Graff, who came in at left field, comes on to make the first out of the inning as Mackenzie Denson flies out to left field.
Now batting the shortstop, number 6, Imani Edwards.
Never let us get comfortable. That is never a good thing. Imani Edwards, 2 for 3, couple of singles. Her last 2 at bats, grounded out the first, but had a single in the third, single in the fifth, and scored the lone run. Got that straight from the Real Deal Sports Show. She's out at first there. Bloodworth makes the throw. Another ground out for the Cowgirls. They have really kept the ball down, whether it was Kyra Aycock or Ivy Rosenberry. So far in Tulsa, down to their last out.
The center fielder, number 9, Haley Morgan.
The center fielder, Haley Morgan. 0 for 2. Grounded out a couple of times. Has a walk her last time up. She is the last hope for Tulsa. Coach said they're fighters. They have fought. They've battled, and they've hung in there. They've played well against the number 5 team in the country. That one's hit hard. Warsop is back, and that one is over the wall. Home run for Tulsa, and the Golden Hurricane just got within 1 run. That's the 3rd home run of the year for Haley Morgan. And the score just got a little tighter at 3-2. Boy, that did not clear the wall by much, but it did just a little. Let's take a look.
Yeah, Haley Morgan smokes this ball. It's a little up in the zone on the outer half, and she goes with it. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to go out.
1-run lead for Oklahoma State, and that's going to bring up Caitlin Bearpaw, and she certainly could tie this thing up. She's hit 5 home runs on the year. She is their number 1 home run hitter. 0 for 3 today, but those 5 home runs, she could change this game in a hurry. Hits that one into the gap and gets it by Bloodworth. And Tulsa, the bats coming to life here at the top of the 7th.
Exactly that fight that we've been talking about, and these Tulsa hitters down to their last out. They get a big home run and a single through the 5-6 hole, and they've really got something going here in the top of the 7th with 2 outs.
Well, again, and now Abby Jones coming in. Walk, RBI single. I mean, they're going to bring in a pinch runner. Makes sense, get some speed on the bags for Tulsa. And this is, again, Abby's been very good. So that's exactly the right point to make here. She said we are a team of fighters. We keep coming back. We don't give up. And Coach Strimple has described her team perfectly. This is going to be a fun team to see what regional they end up in and how far they can advance, because this is a team that is scrappy. Abby Jones is the second baseman. At first is Tara Hall from Jinx, Oklahoma. NEO transfer, and there's Abby Jones. And Carrie Eberly wants to talk it over, make sure that everybody's set up and ready to go defensively. You know, we talked about the makeup of this Tulsa team with their upperclassmen, but tons of Oklahomans as well. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma City out of Westmore, Durant, Pryor, Jinx, Muskogee, Jinx, Edmond, Sapulpa, Ardmore, Shawnee, Jinx. Lots of Oklahoma kids as well in that roster. And, you know, that's kind of the trick for a team like a mid-major like Tulsa. Maybe you're not going to get the kid that Oklahoma and Oklahoma State does, but if there's any Oklahoma kid that kind of trickles through and gets through the cracks, Tulsa wants to be there to get that kid. And they've done a good job of keeping some of these local kids at home. First pitch to Jones is a ball. Also got some Texas kids on there, about 4 Texas kids, an Arkansas kid, a couple of them, 1 Iowa. But mostly very regionalized roster for Coach Strimple and the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And a 3-0 count here. Maybe trying to be a little careful here with Jones. See if she comes at her here. She does. Ball gets away from Schneidmiller. Umpire kicks the ball, and Schneidmiller looks at him as if to say, what are you doing? She's able to get it. The runners just move up as they would have anyway after the walk. And just like that, the tying run is at second. Let's take another look at this one. Hit off her knee guard. Then the umpire, she's going one way, umpire kicks it another, and that's a good job of Schneidmiller holding that. Easily those runners could have been at second and third. Third baseman has an opportunity to tie it or maybe take the go-ahead hit here. Cole, 0 for 2, has a walk, fly down, and a strikeout the last time up. And stays alive there as the Golden Hurricane down to the last strike. They've been down to the last out for a while. And that produced a home run, a single, and a walk. Now down to the last out within their last strike, rather, within their last out. 3-2 our score. That one hits, and Schneidmiller can't squeeze it as it ticks off her glove, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, Ivy Rosenberry looks like she's just trying to attack and get this final out. She's not letting Cole, you know, she's putting her pitches right on the plate and making her fight and foul some stuff off.
And they are going to review something. That's the best I can do for you right now. So what we know is this, that the count is 0-2. Could it, I don't know if it would have been, if they left early, again, even though it was a foul ball, that would be an out, and this ball game would be over. So the dramatics of...
Exactly. It did kind of look like the runner at second left a tiny bit early, but it's always amazing to me how people pick up on that in real time.
And let me ask you this. This is a great question. Because this is happening so often, you know what happens in that dugout. You're in the dugout on the road oftentimes. Is someone assigned to watch that?
Yeah, there are a couple of people in the dugout who hyper-focus on the base runners, and especially in pressure situations, they really want to make sure those runners are leaving on time, because if someone in our dugout catches a runner leaving early, that is a huge game changer.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too. Even though she left early and it was a dead ball, doesn't matter. She would be out having left early, even in that situation. So, again, we've looked at it. Let's see if we can get just one more look at it here. I mean, looks very obvious that she's a step off and the ball is just now exiting the hand of Ivy Rosenberry. And that seems to be an early release, and that's a great pickup. And guess what? She's out, and this ball game is over. The Cowgirls win it 3-2. Sound the horn. The Cowgirls are going to win it, and what a way to win it right there as the Cowgirls find a way. Kyra Aycock came out, did a good job. Still probably not as consistent as she wanted, but Ivy Rosenberry shut the door. And as scrappy as Tulsa is, and they are, so is Oklahoma State.
Exactly, and Tulsa able to get some momentum late with a 2-out rally. I was kind of like looking forward to see how it ended there, but the runner ended up leaving early, ending the game. A great matchup between these two teams.
It was indeed, and you just you almost hate to see it end that way because it is anticlimactic, and we don't get to see the 0-2 pitch and the 2 outs. But the Cowgirls did what they needed to, from hot dog races to hits. The Cowgirls got out hit tonight 7-5, but in the end, the Cowgirls won 3-2, and the Cowgirls improved to 34-6. Appreciate